Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our call for tonight. And this is our weekend Q&A, uh, uh, mainly for the Extreme Business Makeover Workshop here in Harrisburg. I have invited some of the folks who are part of our PLR show, and so you could be seeing this from our YouTube channel, from the PLR show. You could be seeing this from the PLR show group. This is actually something that I had planned to do before for most of the people who purchase our video content, but I really needed to revamp this presentation for the folks who are watching who may or may not necessarily be online marketers. So this is going to be slightly different, and I'm going to say it's for civilians, right? So if you're here and you're an online marketer, and you might feel like, well, I might know all this. That's because it's a little different. I decided to change this presentation mainly for the people who don't work in sort of this technical sort of marketing intensive stuff every day, and for them to be able to get it. However, you could use the same presentation, if you're here, and you could use the same kind of presentation in your business if you are an online marketer. That being said, that's enough of the introduction. Let's kind of get into it. I was going to talk about email marketing, but I got a question about video marketing, so I'm going to do that instead. And this is going to be something I'm going to be covering in the meetup more than once. So I'm calling this part one. I'm only scratching the surface of video marketing. And we're going to talk about one aspect of video marketing. And again, this is really just because of the question that I received. And I believe that this will be helpful to you to sort of think about, especially if you've got an existing business, or even if you don't, and you're looking to start an online brand or an online business, and you want to use video primarily in order to do it. And in fact, regardless of whether or not you want to use video as your primary source, you're probably going to have video as part of the mix. That's where people are. And people really do want to watch video. You and I don't necessarily make the rules about that. So let's dive in here. So we're going to be talking about, how you can fully leverage YouTube for your brand and for your business growth, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about here this evening. And so let's first start about the basic elements of YouTube monetization. And this is really important to talk about, especially if you're going to be talking about YouTube. There are things that you probably have read or you hear. If you read the popular press, you probably hear, there are a lot of people who are on YouTube. They're not making a dime. They're putting in great content. They're working long hours. And so, you can almost feel like it's going to be, unfair, or it's not going to be worth your time. And so that's really part of what I want to do tonight, is kind of dispel some of these rumors, dispel some of the myths. You just have to really understand what it is you're going to be trying to do. So let's talk about the four basic elements of YouTube monetization. Um, and there are four basic categories of income opportunities on YouTube. If you already have a primarily business model, right, you are already dependent on branding and bonding. And so if your business model is going to be more fluid, these are going to be four basic categories that you can do in some combination using YouTube. First of all, you can get what they call AdSense. Basically, it's an advertising dollar, and they're going to pay you. I don't know what the exact formula is. They're going to pay you based on the number of views, the intensity of those views, the fact that, one topic is going to be something where they can get advertisers to advertise on. All of those things are, peculiar to the AdSense business model, and that's typically the most popular. That's typically what people are talking about when they're earning money from YouTube, is AdSense, and they're basically getting an advertising dollar. Someone goes to YouTube, they decide to advertise, they're going to give you a piece of that advertising dollar because you are attracting those people to that channel, and people are clicking on or watching ads as a result of you being on the platform, right? That's an AdSense dollar. The other thing that you can do, obviously, is going to be affiliate marketing. So in other words, you're going to promote other people's products on your channel. You can either give people a link to click on, or you can tell people where to go in the video. So you're going to say to people, go to this website and get this, this thing, whatever this thing is, and you're going to get paid a sales commission as a result of sending people to that link where they're going to go and get the thing you told them to get. You can obviously promote other people. So in other words, someone understands that you have an audience, but they want to get in front of that audience. And so basically they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, will you promote us? Right. And this is sort of in the same category of being an influencer or an audience business model. So in other words, it's almost like a sponsorship dollar. So they're saying, hey, we'll pay you to be in front of your audience on a regular basis. You got a unique relationship with this audience. We'd like for you to talk about us on your channel. Right. And all of these are viable things. Of course, you can sell your own product, whatever your own product is. If you have an existing business, you can use YouTube to basically sell your own product. So, however you choose to do that. So what's YouTube? What is it? What does it tend to be? Well, it's a platform that people are using now for information. And so it's going to be a platform that people are also using for entertainment. That's going to be especially the case where you have a situation during the pandemic. Depending on when you're watching this, people are bored out of their minds. People are looking for something to do. They're looking for entertainment, and they happen across your channel. They'll stick there because sometimes they don't really have anything else better to do. It's also a platform that people use for community. So in other words, people socialize in the comment area. You've probably seen that. Sometimes you might go to a particular video or channel and you might see that it's a very active community around that channel. People are talking to each other as much as they are talking to the individual that creates the video. It's also a platform for people use for making buying decisions. So people go to search for a particular product or a particular item, and they're looking to get information. They're looking for you to do a review of some kind. For people who create things and create information, it's a tool to reach these individuals. Now, what you must understand is YouTube is obviously owned by Google. They make the rules, and they can change the rules at any time. You need to kind of have that in the back of your mind, that you may have a channel there. You are renting that channel. You do not own that channel. They are giving you, and you're not paying for it. So in other words, you're not paying them necessarily for a service. You're paying them with your time. You're paying them by giving them the ability to use your content to generate an advertising dollar. The only time the people who are on YouTube become yours is when you make them yours. So you have to undertake, those things that may sound like they're a little cliche. They may sound like, well, I don't want to ask people to subscribe, and I don't want to ask people to join my email list, and I don't want to ask people to buy things. The only time these people who are coming to you and they're watching your stuff, they don't become yours until you make them yours, until you actively ask them to become part of what you're doing. And you really need to strike the balance between meeting their desire for content with your need to monetize. So there's only so long that you can give away free content on any platform and just give, right? If you want to continue to give good content, you want to continue to give high quality content, you got to monetize it. Otherwise, your life on that platform is going to be short lived. You can only do that for so long. Let's talk about the underlying principles of long-term growth on YouTube. There are factors outside the technical stuff that will help you in terms of being there for the long term. One thing you're going to have to do on your channel, whatever you're doing, doesn't matter what you're selling, is to create some kind of different, unique experience. So in some way, it can be little, it can be big. You got to create something where people are going to come to your channel because you're doing something that they cannot get anywhere else. It is classic marketing. You've got to have some kind of USP. And basically you're doing some kind of YouTube, you're doing some kind of unique content. You've got to then drive people from your platform to some kind of permanent content. So even if you have great content, people are coming to your channel, if you're going to be there for the long term, you've got to get those people into some kind of permanent contact that you control, Like if you don't do that, then everything's going to be subject to YouTube. You've also got to work with other collaborators or other creators. So in other words, you're going to be able to expand your audience. You need to expand with other people who are creating video. And this is a step that you may or may not want to do, but if you can get other people who are already generating a lot of traffic to their videos to endorse you or to talk about you, this is going to help you get people to watch your videos. Um, and obviously this might be for the longer term. You do need to understand the basics of paid advertising. Eventually, YouTube has a robust advertising platform. And so one of the ways in which you reach people with what you're selling is that you use your channel to advertise. So again, you do need to understand, again, for the long run, the benefits of using their paid advertising program. You've also got to deliver benefits back, right? You've got to give back to the people who are watching your videos all the time. And this is something that you're going to do on the internet in general. Whenever you have a community, you've got to be able to give to people in some way. You've got to give back to them if they're supporting you on a regular basis. And you've got to use direct marketing language, right? Whenever that's possible. And obviously, you're going to need to make your video content accessible in both the search engines as well as in social media. And then lastly, you need to repurpose your video. We're going to talk about all these things in the session. Let's talk about creating a unique experience. And regardless of what you're selling, you've got to give people a reason to tune into your videos versus somebody else's, or versus doing nothing. People are, I wouldn't even say distracted. They've got a number of alternatives and they don't have to tune into your videos. And so it's going to be something that you're sharing that they're going to stay in that video. Maybe you've got a timely topic. You're talking about something that everybody's talking about. And I mean, obviously, people are talking about, the pandemic and all those things. I'd be careful with those things. I mean, you don't want to necessarily be known for that person. Sometimes those things can be sensitive, but again, you're talking about something that people want to know, or you're talking about something that hasn't been covered. So in other words, you're talking about something that, people do want to know about, but that for whatever reason, they're not covering it. Or, maybe it is covered, but it's just not covered all that well, but you're doing a good job of it. I mean, it also could be the way you cover it. It could be the way you talk about something. And you always want to give people an option of thinking differently. So anytime you're going to do a video, you're going to do it on something that's covered or not covered, coming from it from your perspective uniquely is always going to be a reason for people to come back to your channel, right? Sometimes it's going to be a different form of the video. So in other words, you don't just get on and you talk. Maybe you don't want to do PowerPoint videos the way I'm doing them right now. You might want to do one of the animated videos where you see the handwriting or a demonstration, or, maybe you want to do it personal to the point. Regardless of what it is, you need to be known for the way you cover something that other people don't do. Maybe you like to do live videos like we're doing now, or you want to do recorded videos where you've got some time in order to think about this. And just so that you'll know, and this is even to the point where you're doing unique videos. YouTube does tend to favor a longer, 7, 8, 9-minute videos. It tends to favor those because obviously, when you do those, if you can make it engaging, you're doing YouTube a favor. You're working with the platform to keep people on their platform. That's their goal. Their goal is to get people on their platform and to keep them there so they can serve them advertising. And so if you work with them and you give people a reason to be on their platform, they're going to reward you with more people and more viewers. That's what they want. And so if you want the same things, if you want viewers to your videos, you're going to have to work with YouTube in the way that it wants to be worked with. But at the same time, don't have fluffy videos. You don't have to do that. You don't have to add stuff to your video. I would say, when in doubt, cut it out, cut out any fluff in your videos. So keep your videos to the point, keep it focused on the content. These days people like to visit. And sometimes, if that's the point of your video, if your point of your videos are going to be social and people want that, then yeah, you're going to want to visit. But in general, when you're doing these for business purposes, when in doubt, cut it out of your video. In creating a unique experience, you want to have serial versus episodic. So in other words, you want to have things that require people to come back and see part 2. So in other words, try to do things that, you can't cover all in one video. Obviously, you want to be consistent. So if you're going to do your videos on a particular topic, you want to continue to do them on a weekly or, sometimes even a daily basis. You want it to be habitual. So in other words, you want people to set their watch by you. And if people can set their watch by you, they'll tend to come back to them even more. And um, now, the branded appearance is something that in some cases you're going to want to do. Because you want people to associate coming to your videos with a particular brand. You're going to have to do that on purpose. You're going to have to be going in some particular direction. So in other words, people understand what your channel is about. They understand, who you are and what it is you believe. You need to have some direction. You need to have a developmental aspect. So in other words, what can I come and how can I be better as a result of coming to your videos and watching them? You need to have some element of relationship. So in other words, if you want to develop this long-term bond, you need to have this element of sort of that you and I know each other, and there's a reason for me to be there. And then you've got to have some element of sincerity, right? You should have that in your videos. Let's talk about developing content, a contact outside of the platform. Listen, YouTube does do notifications to the people who subscribe to your channel. I would not depend on those things. You can't depend on those things, especially if you're doing this for a business purpose. Your subscriber numbers are as only good as you getting, as you're getting them, on demand. So in other words, you ought to be also making sure that you utilize YouTube newsfeed posting system. And again, it's not something that's commonly used, but you need to make the most of it. You should also always, and this doesn't matter what you're doing, you should be developing your email list primarily, right? So as you start to get more people to subscribe to your channel and to watch your videos, please make sure that you are driving those people to an email list. You have control over that email. You can get them there with bonuses. So in other words, you offer people the opportunity to get something they can't get on your channel. You're going to have to offer them some kind of bonus. You're going to have to offer them some kind of premium, whatever it is that you've got to do to get people to be incentivized to subscribe. You want to do it. And certainly one of the things you can do, I mean, if you're technical with these things, you can also develop a Facebook Messenger list. Those can be handy too. Once again, you can't depend on those. You don't own them as much as you do your YouTube list. But again, they can be helpful if you can develop them. You should also be trying to develop a snail mail list. And so in the long term, the only thing that's going to be bulletproof, that you can never be canceled, you can never be eliminated, is going to be a snail mail list. Again, that might be a little more long term, but again, it's something that you should be doing, in addition to your YouTube channel. And you can do that with a bonus or some kind of newsletter. All these things give you the maximum opportunity to make sure that you have the opportunity to monetize. Right, that's the goal to this. Now, don't make every premium that you have available through the video. Make it so that make it so that the only way that some people are going to get some stuff is they've got to opt into your list. So in other words, don't give all your best content away in your videos. In some cases, make sure that the person, they go through the process of becoming part of your email list and they confirm in order to get, the premium. Let's talk about expanding your reach with collaboration. And you can really expand your viewership, and you're also going to expand your email list at the same time when you do this. Find other people who are like-minded. And these are people who have the same direction that you're going in. They're people who have the same beliefs that you have, whatever your niche is. I'm not saying that they have to have your same beliefs about life. Whatever the niche is, you need to find people who are going to be like-minded. That means you're going to have to know them through their channels. You're going to have to watch some of their content. And before you approach them, you need to contact them and make sure you understand what it is that they do. In some cases, people are not necessarily going to be all that easy to catch up with, but right, you can contact them, when the time is right. Also, make sure you're driving people to your channel, and from your channel to your list. That's, that's the coup de grace. That's what you've got to be doing. And when you collaborate with other people, You should always be looking for people who can help you to expand your audience, people in your niche who can help you to expand your audience. And then look to make connection with your partners into your world in order to increase that particular bond, and look for opportunities to give credit to these other creators, right? All of the time. And obviously, as you start to build your channel, and even as you are starting, you want to find ways to give back to your community, however big or small your community is. And, this is really basic, right? Contests and prizes. When you reach any numerical plateau, 10 viewers, 100 viewers, 500 viewers, 1,000 viewers, 3,000 viewers, 5,000 viewers, always do a giveaway or some kind of special. Make a big deal out of it, and then make sure you reward people. And then when you have somebody who's coming and watching your videos, they're commenting on them, give a boost to those subscribers without them having to do anything. So in other words, always just find a way to talk about the subscriber, find a way to give them some kind of bonus. Also, and this is kind of not necessarily well known, but I think you should be doing it. You should be supporting a charitable cause of some kind, or multiple ones, right, with your channel. And this is just good business. It's always going to be something that people will favor your channel positively. It's typically going to be bad outside of the community. It's not necessarily going to be, good form to boast about what you're doing for the community, but do let your community know what you're doing, by video, by your post. In some cases, you may also, if you want to find a way to give back, get one of your subscribers and interview them. Right? That's another way that you can always give back to your community. Again, you're looking for ways to support the people who are supporting you with their views. And so what you're doing is you're basically saying it's not solely about the brand, but it's about the people, right? And that's important. And again, I know that you know that, but yes, you should be looking to monetize, but at the same time, though, the people that are going to help you monetize are going to be, that viewing audience. And if you're going to be selling, you need to be using direct marketing principles. And this is just, this is going to be the thing that separates you from people who make money at this and people who don't. Your videos need to be headlines. They don't need to be titles. So in other words, you need to be creating headlines that are going to make people click. And so you're going to have to think about that. You're going to have to make sure there's going to have to be some kind of emotional benefit to watching your videos. So in other words, information is great, but people are going to come because they're going to get some kind of emotional benefit. When you can demonstrate proof. So in other words, you've got to make sure that your videos are automatically, at some level, scientifically based. What do I mean by that? In other words, I should come back to your videos because they're dependable, because you've done something proven, right? So whenever you can demonstrate the proof of what you're talking about, you should be generating social proof. So in other words, one of the ways you generate social proof, or the fact that, you have, you are who you say you are, you have the expertise that you say you do, answer questions. Right? One of the best ways to do that is answer questions live, because if you can answer questions live, that's social proof in and of itself. Answer questions by doing more videos about the questions that you get. All of these things will feed into your channel, and then, give your viewers some kind of call to action in every video. Right? That's direct marketing. So in other words, give them something to do, give them some place to go, give them something to purchase, give them something to buy. And though, and if you can, again, this is direct marketing, make it scarce. So in other words, don't make it so that I can get whatever you have to offer in your video whenever I want to. You've got to make sure that you tell me that, hey, you know what, this is going to be available for a limited time, and then make it limited. There are only 6 of these available, then make it limited. Whatever you can do to limit the amount of time that people are going to use to make a decision, you want to do that. That's what direct marketing is. Even though you're in a video and that's what you're doing, you're still direct marketing whatever it is that you're selling. And of course, you're going to make your video available everywhere, right? There is the optimization process. You're going to have to go through that process of basically making sure your video is findable. and then making sure that your videos are right for social media and for iTunes. Never post the entire video. Drive people from your clip to your channel. So whenever you share stuff on social media, make people go back to your YouTube channel to watch the whole thing. They want to get the information. So give people just enough to whet their appetite. Um, and obviously, again, it all comes back to getting people to your email list, right? So be visible wherever you can do this best, wherever you're best at, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Do your behind the scene photos and your graphics, and then also tell people what's coming, right? Tease your content is coming up, and then decide how active you want to be on any particular platform. I'm going to say you want to learn a platform before you try to be active on all of them, right? Try to learn one platform, be active on it, learn that platform, and then use it in order to get people to see more of your videos. And then also, one of the things that you can do is you don't want to have discussions in places other than on YouTube. So even if you get a lot of traction on your Facebook channel, let people know, if they really want to talk to me, I'm going to be talking on YouTube. That's where I answer my questions. You need to take the video content you're creating and repurpose it and make it available elsewhere. This is a kind of I wouldn't call it a ninja trick, but it's one of the things that you can do in order to get people to see your content. So you take that video, turn it into published purchasable content, right? Take the audio out of the video. You can do that with any video editing software. You can upload that content to some kind of transcription service. There's one called Timmy. And then you can repurpose all of your content to Kindle, right? So in other words, you're going to have to edit that content, obviously, but wherever you have purchased, wherever you've created content before, you want to also repurpose that content to other places, to Kindle, to paperback. And then, obviously, one of the things that you can do, you can break that content up and turn it into an information product. That's something that you should be doing, and driving people from these products, again, to your email marketing list. Okay, so what did we do tonight, right? What did we discuss? What all did we talk about? Well, we talked about how you can monetize, different ways you can monetize. We talked about what YouTube is. We talked about the principles for long-term growth on YouTube. We talked about creating a unique experience. We talked about developing contacts out of your platform. And we talked about expanding your reach with collaborations. We talked about giving back to your community. We talked about using direct marketing principles. And we talked about being visible in social and search, as well as repurposing your content in other forms. Okay. If you are watching this and you are part of our PLR group, you can get more information, or you can see more of our training at theplrshow.com. We've got information there. If you are part of our local meetup, you'll get more information at extremebusinessmakeover.com. And we'll be happy to get you more information there if you're part of our local meetup or are part of our local training package. So with that, everybody, thank you for hanging out with me here. I appreciate you all being here. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Have a great day and a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.